All right, everybody. Are we live yet? Okay, there we go. All right. Hello, everybody. You know me. I'm Mike. This here's Moosey. And you're here for another episode of Live Mike on the Modeling with Mike channel. So before we start everything, let's start the way we usually start with last week's poll question, which was is aftermarket parts worth it for budget builders? And unanimously, 100% to nothing, y'all said yes, they are worth it. So thank you for your participation. There will be another poll question after this live stream is over. So let's go straight into this week's topic. Today we're talking about something a lot of us face: keeping up with our love for scale modeling when money is tight. Or, in other words, the struggle of modeling on a fixed income. Why does it matter? Well, because you are on a fixed income, the prices of everything in scale modeling are still going to go up. And your income, especially if you're on like Social Security, like I am, uh, your income only goes up once a year. Uh, and if you're on, say, getting benefits from a 401k, uh, you know, your income may not ever rise. So, yeah, the struggle to keep up is real. Like I myself, I have to constantly watch every dollar and budget, and you're constantly looking for the lowest price thing you could possibly get. Uh, it's not fun and it's not easy, but it's possible. It's also frustrating. It limits your creativity somewhat. A lot of it still has to do with you know right up here, your mind. So let's talk about the cost scale modeling. Where does your money really go? It goes to kits, it goes to paints, goes to tools, aftermarket parts, everything, everything. Uh, and a lot of money goes out to all that stuff because you have to constantly replace something, whether it's a new bottle of paint, new bottle of thinner, new bottle of this, new bottle of that. So, some smart saving tips, budget hacks. You can use DIY tools and supplies, as I'm often saying. Reuse materials. You can shop secondhand, buy secondhand kits or clearance kits, even. You could stretch paint and glue by using, by you can stretch paint and glue by using thinner and stuff like that. Make your own weathering products out of pastels, uh, makeup, stuff like that. So I believe that's it for my spiel for this week. Let's go to the chat, shall we? Lucy says, let's go to the chat. Michael Lambertino. Hello, Michael. How's things in Philly? Looney Tooing says evening. Hey, Looney. Michael says not on a fixed income. Well, you're going to be one of these days. So pay attention to the chat. Chester Lewis. Chet says, hey, y'all. Hey, Chet. Chet says it goes to corporate giants. Yeah, it does. John Christmas, how you doing, buddy? Got your email. Sorry to hear you going through what you're going through. We're thinking about you. He says, hi, Mike. Your parcel is cleared customs in USA and is en route to you. Cool. All right. Well, that's going to come up in the future videos segment. Chet says a lot of times secondhand kits can go for more than store bought new kits. Yeah, it depends on what they are. And, you know, Looney Tooing says her secondhand kits are dirt cheap. Oh, okay. This is Jan. Okay, you're Looney Tooing. Okay. No clue why YouTube changed display name. Okay. Well, yeah, I thought you and Looney Tooing were two different people. John says he has surgery booked for next Thursday. Well, good luck on that, man. We're thinking about you. Kick that thing's ass for us. So let's ask our first question of the day, shall we? Where is it? Have you ever had to put a kit back on the shelf because it just wasn't in the budget? I know I have. I have many times. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. Not a good feeling at all when you gotta do that, especially if you want the kit. What's up, buddy? Hmm? John says, luckily never happened for me. Oh, wait till you go on a fixed income. It will. It will. No, not me. Well, once again, wait till you're on a fixed income. Because here's the thing, a fixed income is called a fixed income because it doesn't go up, not going down. Chet says, nope, being disabled, I just leave in the cart or save for later. Don't get to stores. Yeah, I rarely do, but the times I do, it's Moosey wants down. There you go, buddy. Times I do, it's kind of rough. But then if you leave it in the cart or save it for later, isn't that just like putting it back up on the shelf? You're doing the same thing when you're putting it back on the shelf in the store. You're not buying it. John says, I'm retired but have a very good pension. Cool. That helps a lot when you have a good pension to work on. Jan says, I can only imagine no shows near you because best deals done at shows. Yep, Jan, there isn't a hobby store near me until, well, coming up here very shortly, we're going to have a Hobby Lobby coming in to town. That's going to be the only hobby store, let alone model store. That's going to be the only hobby store in town. John says, very little good. Okay. Retracted the message. I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, we have been a very non-hobby centered town for the past 10, 15 years at least. You got to go 20 miles either direction to get to a hobby store around here. And we're not a little crossroads town, we're a small town of 15,000 people here. I mean, we got the big name restaurants. We got Applebee's. We got all the big name stores. We got a Meijer. We got a Walmart. We have no hobby stores though, none. And I don't understand that at all. John says very little deals at Telford this year. Guess it is to do with cost government put on the vendors. Huh. Michael says, I'm 58, will be retiring next year with the railroad pension, and my wife's retiring in 2 years with her pension plus mortgage has been paid off. Wow, very good. You're set, my friend. You're set. Especially with the mortgage paid. That's a biggie. Been listening to Dave Ramsey, haven't you, Michael? Jan says, we don't have an expensive hobby. We just make expensive, decent kits for under 30 euros. True. Michael says, I do. You do. All those who don't know what Michael and I are talking about, Dave Ramsey is a very famous financial man on radio and TV. Chet says we have a Hobby Lobby, 3 Ollies, a model-centric hobby shop, and the others are mostly RC. I forgot we do have an Ollie's too. So, Jan says Jad Lamb and Wonderland had great deals at Telford. So, okay, let me read John's. And I want to ask you guys a question who were there. John says, year I went at 55 and mortgage was paid off before I left work. Cool. Another Dave Ramsey follower. Chet says, our Ollies hardly ever have car kits, mostly military. I haven't been to our Ollies yet. Kind of hard to get around. Michael Lambertino says, never been to Ollie's. How's their models? Yeah, I guess, Chet, you can answer to that. John says 2 out of over 100 vendors. No good odds. Not good odds. Wow. So John and Jan. There we go. How was Telford overall? I want your total overall impression of how Telford was. And Michael, from what I hear, always has pretty good models. Oh, Hobby Lobby is now cheaper at the 40% off week than Ollie's, Chet says. Hmm. And what's good with Hobby Lobby is they have an app that you can order off of. You don't have to go to the store anymore. That's what I like about them. Chet says, although I hear all the kit prices went up at Ollie's, John says, total overall, it is a great experience and would recommend going. Chet says, I meant Hobby Lobby. Okay. All the kit prices went up at Hobby Lobby, you're saying, Chet. I get you. Okay, here's another question for y'all. Where does most of your hobby budget go? Kits, paints, or tools? Michael says, yes, prices went up. Okay. And I can answer my answer to that question. My budget mostly goes to kits. Right now. Jan says, I had a great time, bought a P-47 Razorback, cool, Millennium Falcon, and a light, plus random tools, paints, saw great models, and met great people. Michael says, kits. Chet says, Ollie's kits were $12, are now $19. Hobby Lobby were average $30, now close to $40. Yeah, everything's going up. Check out my video tomorrow. It hits on that. Chet says budget all the above. Kits, paints, and tools, he says. Michael says tariffs. Yeah. Enough said on that. We're going to get into a subject there we don't want to get into on this channel because it'll make me go off. No, we're not going there. We're not going there. Michael said, LOL. Yeah. John says, tools and books, mainly this year at Telford, where I have my main spend each year. Just a few kits this year. Yeah, that's too bad. So is Alex Mann there again this year? Or was it too expensive for him? I remember he was there. He made a video of last year being there, and he said he barely broke even. Just wondered if he made it there this year. 'Cause I know his store. I've seen the store on his videos. It's not that big. Uh, Alex was there as a visitor only. Went out for a curry with him. Great bloke. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to set up there because he said he barely broke even last year after the hotel and food and costs and everything. Yeah. Chet says if you're into NASCAR, Salvino's kits are made in the States as well as Atlantis models. Yeah, I know about both those. They do, from what I hear, they do make great kits. And yes, I am into NASCAR. Actually, I haven't really bought much for actually the workbench in a while because most everything I've bought that has to do with modeling has been something to do with the video. You know, I had to buy this for this video or a model for a build series or need to buy some paint for this model for a build series. uh, Jan has missed several sellers this year. Wow. I got to look at some because all the creators' videos across the pond there should be coming out with their Telfer videos. So, yeah, gonna have to look them up. John says, never build a NASCAR. Oh, you should. You should. They are fun. They make you pay attention, especially around when you're building the roll cage. Because the roll cage only goes together one way. Chet says, I'm in the Salvino's Kit of the Month Club, but haven't tried building one yet since they are modeling color. I might build a Kagano for next week's 72-hour Thanksgiving build. Ah, cool. Michael says, fun and very detailed. Yes. NASCARs are very detailed. Oh, Logano. Okay. Fat finger texting, ain't it great? I was wondering what the hell Kagano was. So I take it the 72-hour Thanksgiving build is exactly that. You have 72 hours to build a Kagano car. Hey, Bernard. Better late than never, my friend. How you doing? Oh, yeah. What's up in H-Town, Bernard? Doing okay. Got some modeling done while waiting on that job. Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Jan says I need to mail the pictures of my VW Beetle for the group build. Have you got the email address, Jan? Let me know. John says bought some great resin kits from 3D Gizmo, very detailed. You could even get your face scanned and made into figure. Cool. Bernard says not yet, should know more next week. Damn. You've been waiting on that job for about a month now, haven't you, Bernard? Ah, okay. No rush. Just as long as you get that picture of the box in and get the picture of the completed model in by December 15th, and that's it. You're good as gold. Yeah. Bernard says, "Yep, the firm that wants to hire me needs to win a contract for the work first." Okay. Chet says, "Yep, the Thursday night AMC Live is hosting it. Cars only. The Insanity Podcast Turkey Shoot going on the same time, but any model, but they want everyone to build a genre they don't normally build." Oh, yes. Next week is Thanksgiving. I sort of forgot. Well, I didn't forget. I just wasn't thinking about it. But that turkey shoot thing that Chet just mentioned brought me to another question. Is Phil Flory still doing his turkey shoot this year? I would think he is. Like John, you or Jan should know. Is Phil Flory still doing his turkey shoot with the gang? I didn't catch that last year. Chet says, "Last year's turkey shoot, I built a Black Sheep Squadron Corsair, only plane besides egg planes I've built." Egg planes. Yeah, planes are a good change of pace. Jan says he does. Yeah, cool. I might have to check it out this year. Gonna be kind of hard to sneak it in between football, but hey, when there's a will, there's a way. Shove it between football and stuff in my face and drinking mist and sevens. Chet says around Easter is the egg planes build. They are fun, quick builds. Yeah, I built a F-15 egg plane once. It's sitting on my TV stand out there. That was fun. It was real quick though. You're right. It was real quick. But if you want to get like intricate paint job, it can take a while, But other than that, yeah, the build itself, the construction phase is very quick. You can build one of those in about an hour, hour and a half. No problem. You can build one on one sitting. I did mine on one sitting, I remember. And if I remember right, those egg planes fit like a glove too. They are great fitting little models. Yeah, I need to buy me another one. Oh, Bernard's throwing us back to the topic. Thank you, sir. He says, regarding the topic, I agree with the statement that the hobby doesn't have to be expensive. We often make it that way. New kits are expensive, but there are alternatives. Yeah, there always are alternatives. But The topic here is the struggle of modeling on a fixed income overall, not just the models, but we're talking paints, supplies, everything. And if you're on a fixed income, the prices on everything keep rising. But if you're on a fixed income, your income doesn't. You know, that's the problem. Especially if you're on Social Security or something like I am. Chet says, I want to try building a PBR to expand my building genre. Pabst Blue Ribbon? I know I should know what a PBR is, but what is that? A professional bull rider. Yeah. You're going to build a professional bull rider. I should know what that is, Chet, but please explain. And when you do, I know I'm going to say, of course, you know. Bernard says, that's true. I remember one modeler from the UK referring to the hobby tax, which is where anything with the word hobby on it is more expensive. True for paints for sure. Yeah, but try the new gallery paints. And I'm not saying that just because I work with gallery. Oh, Patrol Boat River. Okay. Navy used them in Vietnam and transported the SEALs upriver. Okay. I wouldn't have guessed that. But those gallery paints, those things are great, and they're only like $3.50 to $4 a bottle. And yeah, you can't beat that. John says, my latest book on dioramas cost £78. Not a necessary buy, as can do without it, but just wanted it a bit extravagant, I know. Hey, if you want it, you want it. If you want it and you can afford it, I say go for it. It's when you want it and you can't afford it and you buy it anyway where the trouble comes in. Bernard says, I like modeling books, but only the old ones are cheap. Yeah. John says you can get the Pibbler from Tamiya at a good price. Yeah. And we already passed our first half hour, folks. Another good one. See if I can hit you with another. Bernard says boats are interesting category, but they're the most challenging. Boats are an interesting category. Are they the most challenging genre? You can go crazy with the detail. I really don't know that. I would say maybe yes, but you can go crazy with the detail on any genre for that matter. Chet says, I agree that you can make the hobby as cheap as possible, but have to pay for quality. I just ordered decals for a kit that costs more than the kit itself. True. Very true. Michael says, what's the next model you're going to work on? Right now, I am building I got to finish up construction on the Bristol Bulldog. Then that'll be ready for painting and decals. I'll tell you something about that after I answer Michael's question. And I'm also working on a Metal Earth Huey helicopter. And after that, the next one I start will probably be when John's parcel comes in the mail, and it'll be uh, part of that photo etch debacle that I allowed myself to get into for the channel. So that's that. Uh, as far as the Bristol Bulldog goes, I decided to use all those dirty decals that it came with because I couldn't find any decals for it that were anywhere in my price range at the time. Uh, so I'm going to use those old dirty ones. I'm going to put a sludge wash on the whole thing. And, hopefully that sludge wash will sort of mix in with the dirt on the decals and sort of make it like it's supposed to be there. Yeah, John, don't forget the resin engine coming with one of the kits. LOL. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. John Christmas, with friends like you, who needs enemies, right? Just kidding. Just kidding. Oh, hell. Yeah, so that should look good. I think that might look good on the Bulldog. Do a sludge wash. Do what Phil Flory does, man. Do a sludge wash, wipe it off, and yeah. Chet says I paid just under $20 on Sleaze Bay for a Sleaze Bay for a 70 Challenger that included tax and shipping. Ordered a set of TA decals for $22 plus shipping. Yeah, the decals were just as much, if not more, than the damn kit itself. That's unless I absolutely have to. I'm not doing that. Yeah, that just don't make sense to me. Cool, Chet. Bernard, this is Bernard. Cool, Chet. I'm working on a 70 Challenger now. It won't be as nice as yours. I'm still learning car models. Well, learn as you go, buddy. Learn as you go. You don't learn without doing. You don't score if you're not in the game. You don't learn without doing. Therefore, you don't get better without doing. Chet says, Bernard, my builds suck. Yeah, you're full of shit, Chet. Your eyes are still brown. Don't let him kid you, Bernard. If you haven't figured out yet, Chet's a joker. Wow. Moving right along here, folks. We're almost 40 minutes into this thing. Damn. These things are going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster every week. Chet says, I'm not joking. I can point out mistakes on every build I do. Yeah, but they don't suck. I mean, I can point out every mistake I do, but on my builds, people still say my builds look good. I mean, you know. Oh, God. John says, Chester Lewis, you should see cost of shipping from UK to USA, bloody Trump. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I ain't going to say nothing. Let's not go there. Michael Lambertino says, has anyone checked out Sparky's model car salvage? If you like salvage rusted cars and trucks, heavy weathered, awesome work. I take it that's a YouTube channel? If it is, I'll write it down. Sparky's model car salvage. Hey, Michael says yes. Okay. Well, I wrote it down. John Christmas says Nightshade does a lot of great weathering. Don't you mean Night Shift? Are you talking about Night Shift? If so, you're right. He does. Oh, he does most things great. Bernard says, so far I've learned with cars that they aren't always as intricate as some planes or boats, but trying to get the body paint perfect is really tough, and you typically can't cover with weathering. True. On both parts. Chet says, Tiffany the Dirt Road Cinderella builds awesome rust and weathered cars and trucks. Wow, Tiffany the Dirt Road Cinderella. I definitely got to write that down. John says, yeah, Night Shift. I thought you were talking about Tiffany the Dirt Road Cinderella. I've never heard a name like that. The Dirt Road. Okay. Michael says he doesn't do anything shiny, all heavy weathered rust and dents. Okay. Jan says Britain also getting expensive. Can't shop there anymore. Shipping and taxes made my last order there double its price. Yeah. I've heard a bunch of people. But Britons say the same thing about shopping, getting stuff from Europe too. So Chet says the YouTube channel is Dirt Road Cinderella. Okay. Okay, cool. Got it. Got 2 new channels got to check out. You guys are damn helpful. Sparky's Model Car Salvage and Dirt Road Cinderella. All right, folks, we're coming up on 45 minutes into the live stream. You know what that means. That means it's time for the mid live stream look at the next videos coming up on the channel. Tomorrow at 8:30. Got a video coming out. Can you be a serious scale modeler on a budget? This is the second video that I've taken from past live streams and made a video out of it. So, first one was the one that is currently up, and that's doing pretty good. I think it's 3 out of 10 right now, and got about 70 views. So, yeah, not bad. Tuesday's video, this is all up in the air and can change in a heartbeat, but right now I'm going to be testing do it yourself airbrush cleaners. And next Friday, I'm either going to start the challenge build series. If John's parcel comes in, I'll do that, or God knows what, you know. So that's what's coming up. And while I'm at it, I have decided that next week's live stream, listen up, everybody. Next week's live stream is going to be on Wednesday since Thanksgiving's on Thursday here in the States. And I'm going to be busy stuffing my face, drinking alcoholic beverages, and watching football. So it'll be on Wednesday at the same time, 3:30 Wednesday next week. And there's not going to be a subject. It's going to be an Ask Me Anything video type of live stream. So you have a week to think up your questions. So it's going to be Ask Me Anything. Okay? Wednesday at 3:30 next week. Back to the chat. Chet says, I'm amazed at weathering and rusting on model cars. Just can't get myself to do that, like showroom looking cars. I'm with you, Chet. I can't do that either. Mine have to have a shine on. Chet says, are you sure Thanksgiving is on Thursday this year? Asking for a friend. Yeah, they switched it to Monday, Chet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's on Thursday this year. You're one of a kind, Chet. That's all I can say. Oh hell. Let's see. Time for another question, I think. Here's the next question for y'all. What's your best budget hack, considering this is a budget modeling channel after all? What's your best budget hack that saves you money but keeps your builds looking awesome? I can hear all those keyboards going now. Chet says Dirt Road Cinderella and RKD are hosting a bootleggers ball group build. If I get into, I will be making a ratty looking pickup. Ooh. With plenty of weathering, I'm sure. Yeah, there's group builds all over the place this time of year. Jan says, yeah, I fail at the budget part of the hobby. Yeah. That's the only way I've done the hobby is budget. Very obvious reasons, but hey. So, Jan, what did you say you were building for the holiday group build? Michael says, by the way, if you ever enter a car show, they do have an area for weathered cars and trucks heavy. Wow, never. Well, but, yeah, I guess they would. You know, not everybody is like Chet and I and like clean car builds. Adrian Hook, how you doing, buddy? Long time no hear. He says, hey, Mike, if you want to save money on nose weights for your aircraft kits, get along to a tire shop and ask them if you can have some old wheel weights. Ooh, never thought of that. Yeah. Thank you, buddy. That's a good idea. Chet says, using solder as exhaust, silk ribbon for seat belts, 30 gauge wire for plug wires, flocking or embossing for carpeting, UV resin to make gauges look like glass. Oh yeah, all good ideas. Bernard says you've already mentioned a good hack in one of your videos. Use inexpensive household items instead of hobby branded stuff. IPA, cotton swab, sandpaper, weathering, and regular consumer paints. Yep. I use Krylon for my priming. That is until I tried those gallery paints. God, I can't get over how good those are. And once again, I'm not saying that because I'm affiliated with them now. Lucy, calm down. I'm saying it because it's true. I have not seen a creator of YouTube model creator yet who's tested them out and not liked them. Michael says, I like shiny and mirror finishes on all my models. I only have 2 models, car and pickup truck, that are rusted out. Yeah. You're talking about your vehicle models because there's some you don't want a mirror finish on a tank or a plane unless you want it fresh out of the factory plane. John says, waiting to see what their new airbrush is like because I'm after a new one. Funny you should say that, John. Chet says the Kaleido paints are great, but automotive lacquers lay down beautifully. Okay. Automotive. Oh, okay. But John, their new airbrush, I looked at their website today, and it looks like another winner, but it's also $275. You're gonna pay for what you get. Totally customizable. But yeah, $274, $275, something like that. And yeah, that's gonna be their upper end airbrush for sure, for sure, for sure. And it looks like they're gonna have those 8 indentations around the nozzle. But that's a pure gallery thing. John says, yeah, I looked at it, 185 pounds over here, still pricey. Yeah, but like I said, that's going to be their high end brush, and we'll see if it's going to be worth it. I don't know. Chet says the new TG airbrush looks great. The Aventus airbrush is $279 because it's imprinted with your name and the serial number on it. Yeah, that too is. Michael says you only live once and you can't take it with you. True. Yeah, but you know the truth is gonna the proof is gonna be in the pudding, people. Is it gonna work or is it not? We'll see. You know. Bernard says, Mike, when modeling on a fixed budget, do you target specific kits or save for them, or do you have a fund available, then jump on deals when you come across them? Well, here's what I do, Bernard. Right now, I have enough models in my stash in there to where if I build a model a week, it'll last me a whole year. If I build a model a week and don't stop. So I don't buy kits right now. I don't need to. Uh, the only time I buy kits now is for uh, build series on the channel. But let me catch up on the. Adrian says you won't go far wrong with the gallery airbrush. Very true. They are great and easy to strip and clean. I have the GHAD 68 and it's such a dream to use. Yeah, I have the GHAD 39 and the Mobius 3. And both of them, you got the only thing sorry about that. The only thing I have to say about them is you got to make sure you clean that air cap before you put them away, or else that paint's going to dry on it and clog. Chet says, so Mike, you will rather eat and pay bills instead of kits. Yeah, I mean, even when I was buying kits, that came first. Eating and paying bills and rent, that came first. But as far as when I do buy kits, I go and buy them secondhand on eBay. And, you know, I follow all the directions I lay down on the buying off of eBay video and all that. So I walk the walk. And I can only remember being screwed on like 2 or 3 kits. But that's how I buy them, Bernard. I buy them. I get my check in from Social Security. I pay my bills, get my food, pay my rent, and then I set aside a certain amount for modeling stuff, which includes kits, anything I need. And then the rest is the rest, you know. Yeah, but Adrian's right. You won't go wrong with a gallery airbrush. I've used them since they've come out, and they're a high quality airbrush for not high quality money. Basically, let's put it this way: they're a high quality airbrush for mid quality money, and that's the absolute truth. Adrian, tell me if I'm wrong on that. I had somebody comment on my gallery paint review video, and he said, "Yeah, gallery sends you some free paint. Of course, you're gonna like it." You know what I did? I deleted it because he didn't know a damn thing about what he was talking about. I don't need that crap on my channel. Chet says probably 1/2 to 3/4 of my stash are from eBay. My problem is when I get into another group build, I want a specific kit. Of course, not one I already have. True. Adrian says use a good airbrush cleaner, not the cheap stuff. I used to use a cheap cleaner, and to get the airbrush clean, use end up using a lot of cleaner, so it becomes false economy. I now use airbrush cleaner. Yeah. He probably didn't even, Bernard says he probably didn't even watch the video. The proof was in the test you did right there. Thank you. Thank you. Adrian says, cleaner from Man's Model Moments. Alex make the stuff and it's brilliant. I've heard that. I've heard that about his cleaner. While you're here, Adrian, have you heard about the holiday group build on the channel? Still looking for more participants. All you got to do is you can model your building now. You know, just send me a picture of the box that it came in. Send it to my email address that's on the homepage of my channel. I'm not going to say it out loud here on live streaming for all the damn, hackers out there. But use the email that's on my channel description. On my channel homepage, send me a picture of the model box of the model you're building. Then send me a completed easy for you to say. Send me a picture of the completed model to my same email by December 15th, and you're gold. So Adrian, if you want to join the group build, do that. Chet says, I made Barbatos Rex airbrush cleaner recipe, 91% IPA and lacquer thinner. Cool. Just don't use any ammonia stuff with that. if you have lacquer paint in there. And if any of you want to know why you don't do that, well, number one, ammonia and lacquer together cause a chemical reaction that makes all the lacquer paint stringy and gummy mess. And number two, more importantly, it can pit the chrome plating of your airbrush and ruin it. Chet says, those are the three things I used for cleaning airbrushes. Okay, cool. I only use acrylic paints, so I get by on IPA. Again, until I tried that Kaleido airbrush cleaner, that works great. The only thing is, I've never seen an airbrush cleaner that you don't have to take a paper towel and stick your finger in that bowl and clean it out. Get the last little bit of stuff out of there. Never seen the cleaner that you could do that you don't need to do that with. Chet says Barbatos Rex cleaner is distilled water, IPA, Windex, and one other item. Can't remember what it is. And once again, remember, on the Windex, don't use ammonia Windex. It can't contain ammonia, because if you're using lacquer, you'd put ammonia Windex in there, that lacquer paint's going to become a gummy, stringy mess, and you're going to pit and ruin the chrome finish on your airbrush. Yeah, no ammonia in lacquer. Chet says, I know ammonia-free Windex. Yep. I learned that. I didn't know that until just this week, because I was doing research on the DIY airbrush cleaners, and it said, don't use ammonia glass cleaner. I go, well, why is that? And it told me, oh, okay. I've never had to worry about it because I only use acrylics. So, Jan says Revell cleaner for me. That stuff is great cleaner. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to the Kaleido. I'm gonna stick to Kaleido or the DIY stuff. But then again, like I said a couple of times now, I only use acrylic, and that's plenty good for acrylic. You do need, if you're going into lacquer, I would go with either Barbatos Rex cleaner, like Chet said, for a DIY, or one of the specially made ones. But I don't see going away from acrylics, because I don't see myself moving out of this apartment. So I love it here. I It's like I told the building manager, I'm going to die in this place. You're not going to get rid of me. The only way you're going to get me out of here is on a gurney with the sheet over my face. Chet said, I stumbled on a great deal on Fascist book. Okay. Someone was getting rid of kits for just the price of shipping. Most kits were either unstarted or slightly started. For $39.90, I got a Peterbilt wrecker, 3 cement trucks, a Dodge Daytona, and a Dow's pickup truck. Wow. That's a deal. That's a deal, my friend. A Foose. Okay. A Foose pickup truck. Yeah, you're right, Bernard. Nice score. Very nice score. You don't come across deals like that every day, you know. Michael says, I use mostly lacquer and enamel paints. I use what's recommended to clean airbrushes. Yeah, I would if you're using lacquer and enamel. There you go, Chet. The Foose pickup will probably be my bootleg pickup. That'll work. That'd be perfect. What are you planning on doing for weathering on that? Chet, I'm assuming since it's a bootleg pickup that it's going to be heavily weathered. I don't remember seeing any bootlegger using showroom quality vehicles. Just don't remember it. It might have been, but oh, James Bond bootlegs in the hills. You know what the hell? There's about 15 minutes left, 10 to 15 minutes left. Chet says, well, since a bootlegger will look unimpressive but souped up under the hood, probably primer black with dirt and grime. There you go. One last question for y'all. Does being on a budget make you more creative? What say y'all? What say y'all? Does being on a budget make you more creative? That'll be the last question of the day. Considering we only have like 10, 12 minutes left before I have to start closing her up. It's almost over again already. Damn. Let's see. One of the rules that it has to have bootleg supplies like sugar bags, a still, or whiskey bottles. That'd be nice. Scrap build you a nice elaborate still in the bed of that bad boy. Do me a favor, Chet. Do me a favor. If you get that built before the 15th of next month, send me that along with your group build entry for the holiday build because I want to see that. And I'll just throw that in there, just into the video, just for fun. Will you do that for me? Chet says, yes, on a budget. You have to use different household items to achieve a certain look. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, do that for me, Chet. Send that bootleg truck in along with your holiday build entry. And I'll include that in the video. Oh, okay. No biggie. No biggie. At least make sure you put that on the Farcebook page, the Farcebook group. I want to see that. That's going to be cool. All right, let's see. Bernard says, yes, more creative in that I have to scratch fix some things. It might make me a bit more conservative too, going for older, less detailed kits and forgoing third-party accessories. Very true. Yep, I find myself doing that all the time. Yeah, you won't find me that often on aftermarket sites. Chat says, did you hear about NASCAR when they were building their museum? They asked Junior Johnson if he could make a prototype of a still. No kidding. Well, I know he was one of those bootleggers when they started out. When NASCAR started out, it was nothing but a bunch of bootleggers racing. And he was one of them. Oh, wow. Prototype of a still. And he could have done it. Definitely could have done it. All right, we're coming up on like the last 7 minutes or so before I have to put a bow on everything. Get the poll question up and everything. And Adrian says, Mike, you missed my last comment. Whoa, that don't happen too often. Let's see here. Adrian, was that about the Alex's cleaner? If so, I remember getting it, but maybe you put something out that didn't show up on the comment. Retype it. Uh, it's between two Chester's comments. Okay. Yeah, retype it, Adrian. It didn't show up on mine. I just got a bunch of Chester's comments in a row and nothing from you. So it didn't show up here. So if you retype it and enter it, I'll get it. John Christmas says, how do you confuse a NASCAR driver? Ask him to make a right turn. Not necessarily. NASCAR does have road courses now. So they go to 2 road courses every year at least. So they do make right turns. Yep. Adrian, did you retype your comment? I haven't seen it yet. Huh. Yes, it blanks it out. That's weird. Maybe YouTube's thinking it's not appropriate. I don't know. Huh? I'm just fishing for answers now. That's about the only reason I would see that it's blanking it out. That's weird. Okay, got a minute and a half to say your piece to me before I put a bow on this. Yet another live stream is almost shot to hell. Can't believe it. Seems like it's been 10 minutes ago that I started this thing. Anybody got anything else to say? Speak, 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 speak now. Or forever hold your peace. At least to me, you can talk amongst yourselves, but I won't be answering because I'm going to be busy putting a bow on this thing. Chet says, I know on Fascist Book they don't allow certain names of car parts as they deem them inappropriate. Might be, I don't know. Okay, yeah, yeah. Leave a comment. That's all I can say. Because you do have me curious now as to what you said. So I am going to start putting a bow on this thing. Chet says a short name for a transmission is not allowed. Yeah. All right, folks. So to sum all this up, modeling on a fixed income isn't easy, but with creativity and community, it's absolutely possible. And I prove that every day. If this is for people watching this at a later time, if you like what you see and hear, make sure you press that like and subscribe button. Both help the channels out. We'll see you later, Adrian. Take care. Thank you. Uh, Everybody else watching later, this is all for you. Don't forget about the Frugal Scale Modeler group on Facebook. I leave a link to it on all my videos. Go to the homepage, answer 3 membership questions, and agree to the group rules. Then you can start posting and communicating with fellow members. Don't forget, if you're ever on the gallery website, I do have a discount code on gallery. It's MW Mike, all capital letters, all one word, and you'll save 10%. Chet also has a code on there. Billboards Builds. Enter that, save 10%. Don't forget about the holiday group builds. Send me a picture of the box, the model box of the model you're building. Send it to my email address, which is on the channel description on my channel homepage, and have your picture of your completed model in to the same email address by the 15th of December. And you can build anything you want, any scale, any genre. Next 3 videos. Tomorrow, Chet says, Mike, did you see what I type as to what Junior Johnson said to Bill France? No, I didn't. And Bernard is right. Gallery is also in the middle of the Black Friday sale. Have a link to that, or go to their websites. I have a whole thing about that on tomorrow's video, which will be Can You Be a Serious Scale Modeler on a Budget? That and all the information about the gallery Black Friday sale will be tomorrow's video. Tuesday's video, as it stands now, is DIY airbrush cleaners tested. And then next Friday, it's either going to be starting the challenge build series or something else that I have no idea of yet. So that's what's coming up. So thanks for taking part today. And thanks for keeping the hobby active, even when times are tough. So that's all we got for this live stream. Y'all know what we say around here. Say it with me. Never stop pushing your modeling boundaries. Until next time, ciao.